In this problem, we are going to use the Casio graphing calculator to find the probability of finding a sample mean that is less than a certain value from the population. Therefore, we're going to apply probability for sampling distribution of the mean. Before we get started with the Casio, let's identify our variables. We have a population with a mean of 1250 and a standard deviation of 400. This population is known to be highly skewed to the right. We have a random sample of 64 items selected from the population. What is the probability the sample mean will be less than 1325? Let's fill in the numbers. The probability of x bar, that is our sample mean, is 1325. And the n that we are given, the sample size, is 64. Now, because the n is greater than 30, the Central Limit Theorem applies, and even though this population is known to be skewed, the sampling distribution will be normally distributed, and therefore we can still use the normal distribution to get probabilities. The population mean we've been given is 1250, and the standard deviation of the population is 400. Now we're going to compute the probability in the Casio. In the Casio, we go to the Stat menu. We'll go to Distribution, Norm, and we're going to use NCD, which is the cumulative density function. We're asked to enter the lower bound, the upper bound, the sigma, or standard deviation, and the mean. The lower bound, because we're trying to find a less than problem, let's draw this out and make sure that we're clear on what we're trying to find. We want to know the probability of finding a sample mean less than 1325. So that is somewhere to the right of our population mean. And we want to find less than, so we want to find all of the area to the left of 1325. Now that we have that drawn and we can see what we're trying to do, in the calculator our lower bound will need to be negative infinity. You can enter this multiple ways. You can enter a very large number like minus 9999, or you can enter minus exponent and 99. Our upper bound will be the thing we're trying to find probability less than 1325. Standard deviation needs to be the standard deviation of the sampling distribution. So we enter 400 divided by the square root of sample size. Our mean is given to us as 1250, EXE, we're ready to execute, and the answer is 0.9332. There is a 93% probability of finding a sample mean smaller than 1325, given a sample size of 64, a population standard deviation of 400, and a population mean of 1250. If we wanted to find a probability of finding a sample mean larger than 1325, drawing it out on the normal curve, we actually now want to find this piece right here. To find that piece in the calculator, we'll leave the numbers the same. So if you're still in your Casio normal CD menu, hit exit to go back a step. Now we're trying to find values to the right, which means our lower bound will be the 1325, and our upper bound will be infinity, which we can enter as 9999, or we can enter as exponent 99, and that's basically 1 followed by 99 zeros. The standard deviation of the sampling distribution will not be changed from the last problem. It will still be 400 divided by the square root of 64, and the population mean is the same. Execute, and we see that the probability is 0.0668. Now let's take a look at a problem where we're trying to find the probability between two sample means. Let's look at the probability between 1220 and 1325. This will be our x bar 1, and this will be our x bar 2. On the curve, we're trying to find the area between 1220 and 1325, which will be this piece in here. Let's look at it in the calculator. Hitting the exit button to go back to the normal CD menu. So our lower bound now will be the 1220, the smaller value. The upper bound will be 1325. Our standard deviation is actually the standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the mean, which is 400 divided by the square root of sample size. Mean is 1250. Execute, and the answer is 0.6589. There's just under a 66% probability that we would find a sample mean between 1220 and 1325. And that is how we use the Casio graphing calculator to find probability in a sampling distribution of the mean.